Just a little bit. We've touched on them a little bit.
Okay, let's dip into them again.
Sure.
Who wants to start? Who wants to go?
Well, I can start a little bit. I think values and exploring values is something that's really very key to the coaching relationship, and really is a place that whether we're working with a single person or we're working with couples or Janice working with families or doing a motion coaching workshop or something like that. Exploring a person's values is really key, because a lot of times someone who comes to us for coaching is really or a couple that comes to us for coaching. Really, the problem in identifying a goal or a way forward for them is really a conflict in values. Say the husband may value leisure time and time on the weekends with friends, where the wife may value time on the weekends with the husband and family, and I know Janice mentioned one of the 7 principles is developing shared meaning. So developing shared meaning may be one of the values for the wife. So we have this disparity in values that really might be preventing the family from really moving forward towards meeting some of their goals. So what we do as coaches initially in the beginning is to identify what are the values individually for the husband, the wife, and if we're working with families, we'll even bring the kids in and say, kids, what are some of your values? What are the things that you like? What are some of the things that you don't like? And
is that a difficult process for people to go through?
We have questionnaires, we have assessments, we have ways of working with people to figure out what their underlying values are. Some people don't even know what their values are and what drives them, right?
Yeah.
And so this was the case actually with me. I didn't have a clue what my values were. And so the more I got to know myself through my education, through the years, just through age, and my, self-reflection and introspection. I'm very introspective and analytical. And
no, not you.
Yeah.
No way, not Janice.
So, I eventually did come to find out exactly what my values were, and it was a really hard process. The exercise that I did is one that we use actually in our values workshop.
Can you share that with us?
And so what it was is, it was in one of my social work courses, and my instructor gave us a stack of Post-it notes, and we had to write our values on them. And that was easy enough. I value my family, I value my friends, I value my faith, I value my, my pet, I value integrity, I value determination, I value education. So I had this great big list of values, and as we progressed through the exercise, I had to get rid of them. So I had to trade, almost all of them.
Really?
I had to trade them in. So what
do you mean trade them in? This is exciting. I've got to hear this. You traded your values in?
You trade them
like
in.
You do a used car?
So, basically, sort of. For example, one of the ones that she used, and I don't always use this, but some of the ones that she used was, what if you can, I'm going to cut off your legs, but you can keep your legs if you give me one of your values. So, and then as we kind of progressed, it became more and more difficult because the trade-off was just more difficult, right? So obviously, if you don't want to give up your legs, you value your mobility and your health.
Sure.
So it really kind of helped to clarify. And then at the very end, it was, you're drowning in a boat accident, and there's a little piece of land. You can take one thing with you. There's only one thing you can take on that island with you, and you're never going to get rescued. What would that one thing be? You're only allowed one. Oh, and I tell you, it was just so hard because, you've got faith and you've got your children on there. You've got your husband on there. It's like, I can only take one? Do I value God more than I value my family.
Oh boy, oh boy.
That was a very, very, very challenging one. And I'm not going to tell people what it is because I think most people know.
And how many people do that exercise? I mean, in their lifetime, they may never
don't.
ever do that exercise.
People don't usually think about values.
Changing the picture. You changed your values picture, didn't you?
Well, I clarified
You
them.
reframed it.
I clarified them, and I kind of brought them into a sort of a clearer view where, who am I, right? It sort of helped to identify who I am as a person and what do I want out of this life, right? So where am I going to direct my energies? This actually really did, it was a huge, impactful exercise for me to do. And I've done a lot of them since then. What are my values with work? What are my values with playtime? What are my values with my family? Do I value quality time with my family, or do I value providing for my family? Which one is more important? You know, those are the kinds of things that drive people's behavior.
So was it destructive or constructive?
Oh, it was all very constructive.
All very constructive.
Absolutely.
But it's scary initially, though, isn't it?
It was very scary. When I did that first exercise in values, it was like, I can only pick one.
Jeff, did you take that same test, the value thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what happened to you? Did you end up with an island with no legs with...
Well, as I recall, yes, wound up with my faith, and that's a hard choice to make, because I don't have any kids of my own, and Janice is really all that. As I'm going through everything, I can either trade in, I can either give up my relationship with my wife, or I can give up my faith, and that's a hard choice to make, because I waited a long time for marriage, and so I value marriage and my relationship so much that it's tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
And to call upon somebody to do that level of deep, hard thinking, traumatic, isn't it? Like, come on, it would just about break you in two if you had to.
If you actually had to do that, I would rather die.
Yeah.
Than make that choice.
Yeah.
I would, because I know where I'm going. But I would never want my husband, because I did make that choice too. I said I wasn't going to say, but I said, my choice is my faith. And that is such a heartbreaking thing. So if I ever had to do that, if I had to make that choice for real, my heart would break and I would die anyway.
Absolutely.
Because the intensity of my valuing those two things, and my son too, like those are the things that I value above everything. Mm-hmm. And so I couldn't make that choice.
So Jeff, it's so nice to know that you're second or third on her list.
Well, I know, and that's how I really,
but
don't hate me.
Hey,
sorry, hon, you're going overboard.
Answers are answers, and they're, do they define purpose? Does that answer define the purpose of the person?
It helps to clarify life purpose. So when you think about what is my purpose in the world, what am I here for, who am I, those really existential kind of questions, it does help to clarify an answer. So, for example, if you say, I value my faith, I value integrity, I value my relationships, that kind of helped me to figure out, what am I going to do with those values now? Mm-hmm. What am I going to do? I love marriage. I love God. Mm-hmm. I love my family. Those are exactly what I'm going to focus my work energies for, because this is my passion.
Yeah.
This is what I love.
Yeah.
And so when I'm doing this kind of work, it's like I'm not even working. I'm playing.
Exactly. People
I'm
don't get that,
fun.
do they?
No. And so when you live according to your values, that's what brings such a sense of purpose. That brings the sense of belonging, because you're where you're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And when we're coaching people in that gap. So when people are not living according to their values, there's a kind of a gap there.
Oh, it's a disconnect, isn't it?
That's where we try to make the connect happen.
So if you're doing exactly what you were designed to do, in essence, you will be able to bless people everywhere you go and everyone you touch when you engage of doing what you're designed to do, right?
Exactly, and you would bring God glory in the meantime.
Yeah, see,
So-
everybody wins. Everybody wins on so many levels, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you can see joy. I mean,